I'm Pastor Rick, and this is Straight Talk on Scripture. And I have a really cool story. If you'll just bear with me, I'm going to need an extra few minutes today, but I think it'll be worth it. Now, why does money have so much control over us? And the answer may surprise you, because in the beginning, God created three needs in man. Now, I know those of us who have gone to school, you would say those needs are food, clothing, and shelter. And there's truth to that. But there are deeper, more spiritual needs that God created. The first is He gave Adam a job. And in that, He created in man the need for significance. People need to feel they have a purpose. The second thing is God looked at Adam and He said, it's not good that he's alone. I'm going to create a helper that's suitable for him, a helpmate. So the second thing is God put in us a desire for human contact. I know that some people love animals, dogs, cats, and so forth, but what we see is, although Adam had all the contact with animals, it still wasn't enough. Now, everybody doesn't need to be married, but everybody needs human contact. Friends, people who they can care about, who care about them. The third thing is that God gave Adam and Eve dominion over His creation. Now, the third great need that all of us have is a need for some control in our lives. And you take somebody who's in a nursing home who has lost every ounce of control over their lives, and I'll show you somebody who's very quickly going to lose the will to live. So those three great needs, significance, belonging, and control, are so deep that they even override the need for food, clothing, and shelter. Now, what does this have to do with money? We learn at an early age that money can provide us significance, it can provide us with company, and it gives us control. There's a truth in that. And so obviously, if we give all our money away, we give our ability to meet those needs away. But there's a better way, and that is to trust God to meet the needs, to supply the finances we need, to give us significance and companionship and control without us being greedy and stingy and even willing to steal to get money to fill those needs. I want to tell you a really cool story of something that happened to myself and my wife. About 20 years ago, I bought a raffle ticket, and the first prize was a painting done by a famous artist. And when I got it, it was on heavy cardboard. It was all rolled up with a rubber band around it. And it actually looked like a kindergarten kid did it. It was awful, it was ugly. But for some reason, I just felt I should preserve it, so I had it matted and framed. And where I hung it in my office for a few years. People told me I should throw it out. P.S. I ended up putting it behind my dresser and just forgetting about it. Okay, now fast forward 20 years, Linda and I are getting ready to retire, and we're clearing out our room, and I discover this painting behind my dresser. So I think, I'm going to Google this guy, and it turns out Esteban Vicente, who did the work, was a really famous artist. So I said, I'm going to give it a shot, and I got in touch with an art dealer out of Manhattan and a house that auctions off his work. And they said, sure, send it in, which I did. And I'm thinking, I will be so blessed if I got like $500 for this thing. Well, P.S., it goes on auction, and it sells for thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars. And by the time Linda and I got our cut, which was well over $5,000, we were able to go on a cruise with our brother and sister-in-law to celebrate their 50th anniversary, our 40th anniversary. So the reason I'm telling you this is, if you're not greedy, if you trust in God, if you're generous with your money, if you honor God with your money, God will make unusual ways to make sure you have what you need. I bought this raffle ticket 20 years ago and just put this ugly painting away. I never knew it was going to end up being worth thousands of dollars at a time when I needed it. And so that's just one example of how God provides for us in unusual ways when we least expect it, as long as we honor him and don't try and hoard and steal and be greedy. As long as we're generous and we honor God, he honors us. Well, just something to think about. I'm Pastor Rick. This is Straight Talk on Scripture. Remember, with Jesus, there's always hope, there's always love. God bless you. I'll see you next week.